Hello and welcome everyone. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the fearful avoidant attachment style. Now, you might have heard of attachment theory before, but understanding the dynamics of this attachment style, if you are a fearful avoidant yourself watching, or if you're the loved one of a fearful avoidant, this can be a real game changer for understanding your relationship dynamics, whether it's romantic, friends, or even family. So if you kind of find yourself caught in the cycle of pushing people away, but also desperately wanting connection, then stick around because today we're going to be talking about why this happens, how it shows up in relationships, and what you can do to heal. But first, if you're new to my channel, my name is Marcella. I'm an attachment practitioner trained by Tice Gibson in the Personal Development School. I have a bachelor's degree in business, and I've been studying the field of attachment theory, focusing mainly on the fearful avoidant attachment style for the past 5 years. So if you're curious about why you might feel conflicted or unsure when it comes to love and connection, then stay tuned. So what even is attachment theory? Attachment theory is a theory based on the idea that our childhood experiences shape how we view relationships in our adult lives. It's really a time where we're learning what it means to give and receive love, right? An individual with a fearful avoidant attachment style, also referred to as a disorganized attachment, can be known as kind of the hot and cold partner in relationships. They swing from sort of wanting love and connection, but simultaneously being afraid of it at the same time. It's like a push-pull between wanting to get close to others, but also feeling terrified of that closeness and then pushing people away. So where does this fear actually stem from? Well, the fearful avoidant attachment style usually stems from growing up in the context of highly chaotic environments and experiencing inconsistent caregiving throughout their childhood. Maybe a child experienced moments where their caregivers were both nurturing and neglectful, or loving and frightening. For example, like if you had a caregiver who was an addict, right? And maybe some days they were really caring and really loving and really nurturing, but then another day, maybe they were going through withdrawals and now they're angry or they're mean or they're volatile and sort of pushing you away. These kind of inconsistencies lead to confusion and a lack of safety in the relationship bond. And then as a result, the child then develops this idea that love is both something that they need and desire, but also something they can't fully trust and can be very painful. So when a child experiences this kind of unpredictability, it really makes it tough for them to learn how to properly regulate their emotions or even form a clear understanding of trust. Because it's like the caregiver who should have provided a safe space becomes a source of like both comfort and distress, creating this internal struggle that carries out into adulthood. It's almost like I can't trust the people I love to be there for me in the way I need them to be or to love me correctly. And this is why one of the biggest core wounds for a fearful avoidant is I can't trust or I will be betrayed. And it's for these very reasons. Fearful avoidants carry this feeling a lot of the times that like the ball is going to drop or that something bad is going to happen. Fearful avoidants, they might seek affection and closeness in relationships, but when they feel too vulnerable or too close, they kind of pull away, either emotionally or physically. And again, this is because of the conflicting views they have about what it means to be close with people they love based on those early childhood experiences and associations, right? Fearful avoidants tend to kind of associate love with chaos due to the chaos that they experience throughout their childhood, which is why you might notice if you are a fearful avoidant that you kind of have a tough time really settling into relationships. It's like as soon as that honeymoon phase is over, right, and there's no more sort of fireworks at a subconscious level, your brain is like, oh no, if there's no fire or passion, which is kind of like chaotic in nature, then we must be falling out of love. And this feels very unsafe. And this is where you might find yourself recreating chaos by maybe fighting with your partner or bickering or criticizing to regain that sense of chaos again, since you associate that with love. Additionally, because of this, fearful avoidants tend to really carry this deep belief that my partner will eventually get get bored of me and leave, and can kind of find themselves trying to recreate this spark or always trying to do things perfectly in the relationship, because it's like they almost believe that they have to constantly be improving to kind of keep their partner's attention. And also sort of this belief that they have to earn their worth inside of relationships rather than being loved for who they are at their core as a person. And this cycle can really be exhausting for both partners in this type of dynamic, and really lead to misunderstandings or breakdowns in the connection over time if one or both parties involved are not properly working to heal these things within themselves. I just wanted to jump on here and let you know that I have a Fearful Avoidant Blueprint guide that's available on my website that will be in the description box below. It's only $10 and it's for you to really start to understand what your patterns are, so you don't have to look into all the whys and figure it all out. You can just pick what resonates for you and start jumping into healing those aspects right away. What can we actually do about this, right? How do we actually break free from these patterns once and for all? Well, number one is going to be learning about your core wounds. You can think of your core wounds as like beliefs you picked up about yourself throughout the course of your lives based on your experiences, and you kind of started to identify with them. Some big ones for the fearful avoidant are things like, I'm going to be betrayed, I will be alone, or I will be abandoned, I don't matter, I am not good enough, right? And there can be so many more, but basically they kind of show up in the form of like these I am statements, and they get imprinted in us due to experiences we had early on in life. Because we don't have emotional literacy at an early age, we tend to personalize every single thing that happens to us and give it meaning. So for instance, if you are a fearful avoidant and you had a caregiver who is an addict and they get really wrapped up in their own things and they're not really looking out for you, and maybe they're being volatile with you, right? The fearful avoidant child, instead of saying like, oh, they have something going on with them, that is a them problem, we personalize it. We say, I am being betrayed, I must not be worthy of love, I don't matter. And when it's a repetitive occurrence, our brain gets imprinted through repetition plus emotion, and this is what imprints our subconscious mind. And if you didn't know, our subconscious mind is responsible for 95 to 97% of all of our actions, emotions, and decisions. And when you have a deep core wound, these things are being reprojected out into your life and into your relationships constantly. It's like the lens that you see your world through until you learn to heal these things. And so a really good tool I like to use to heal this at the subconscious mind level is auto-suggestion. And this is where you take whatever core wound that you have, and let's say I'm betrayed, right? And you actually look for proof of the opposite daily. So you'd write down 10 pieces of evidence of where you actually have loyalty in your life. And you would do this every single morning, because this is when our brain is most suggestible to being imprinted. And you can reread this list every single day for 21 days. And this helps to rewire new neural networks in the brain at the subconscious mind level. And these things, our wounds, our patterns, really exist at the level of the subconscious mind, which is why we must target it and heal at the level it actually exists. Additionally, you're really going to want to learn about your needs and relationships. I know many of us, until we do some personal growth work, often don't have much knowledge, right, around relationship needs. And this is critical to the health and longevity of any relationship. A healthy exchange of needs is kind of how a relationship stays alive. Almost similar to us as human beings, right? We stay alive by meeting our survival needs, like having food, water, and shelter, right? And in that very same way, relationships have specific needs that need to be met in order to sustain itself long term and stay alive. And lastly, learning about healthy communication and boundaries overall is going to be critical. This is a huge part of the fearful avoidance healing journey. But again, this is kind of a topic for another video, because it just has so many layers of information that deserves a lot of attention. So I hope this makes sense to everyone. Hit that subscribe button for more fearful avoidant topics. God bless.